Austin. I'm sure this is an exciting time for you and for your family as well. What's sort of been the interaction between your family over the last couple of days getting ready for this exciting matchup between you and your brother?
Yeah, I haven't talked to my parents yet. They're on their way in. I've got a chance to visit with Aaron yesterday before all of our workouts. I know that, it's busy time right now. We got our things to get prepared for the game and this series. So, yeah, it was good to see him, but it's time to play baseball now.
Are you guys able to turn the page like that? I mean, when it comes time to play, pretty much it's on, kind of like it was during the season, right?
Yeah, we know our business that we have to take care of. We know how to get prepared. And then ultimately it's about enjoying the game. It's about playing the game that we love.
We've talked a lot about your defense and the great job you've done handling this pitching staff throughout, but your offense also has been really impactful. You finished the season off really strong, and you've been able to carry that into the postseason. How fun has it been for you to be able to contribute on that side as well, and how important has it been for you to be able to do that at the bottom of the lineup and make such an impact?
Yeah, these games have been a lot of fun. I mean, the energy's there. We're ready. I mean, every pitch matters. It just takes to a new level. And I'm really enjoying that and getting to into these at bats, deep into these at bats and having a lot of fun, because it's it's a lot of competition between you and the pitcher, and the situations are always big, and that's what it's all about. One pitch at a time, enjoying the at bat, getting as far into the at bat as you can and seeing who wins.
Annie.
Austin, you and Yu Darvish used PitchCom for the first time in his last start, right? How did that work with him having so many pitches? How are you guys able to utilize it well, and do you think you'll use it again today?
I'm not sure what we're going to do. I know the game plan kind of changes depending on the opponent and, what our game plan is going into that day. We'll see what happens with the PitchCom and how we decide to use it, but we haven't decided that yet.
AJ?
I'm wondering if specifically the history of you catching your brother, because you weren't a catcher until so late in your career, have you done that at any point in any sort of competition or game, or and what that was like?
You're saying, have I caught him in an actual game before?
In any setting, yeah.
I've caught him in a ton of bullpens.
Okay, but in a game setting?
Never in a game. Never. We never played. When I was in college at LSU, I was an infielder. He was a pitcher, so never got a chance to catch him. So I just catch him in off-season bullpens.
So having caught him in off-season bullpens, and his stuff probably better than anyone in the Padres clubhouse, is there anything you can take away from that?
I know his stuff very well. Yeah, I've caught most all of his bullpens last year, and we talk a lot about pitching, and he's helped me a lot with the catching standpoint for sure, because he's been doing this a long time at a high level. His knowledge of the game, of hitters, of how to pitch hitters, what he needs from a catcher is second to none. So I use a lot of his knowledge and wisdom, teach me.
In the middle on the aisle.
You mentioned your parents. How do they plan on dressing for the game? Is it going to be like one Padres, one Phillies?
I think when
Jersey?
you're coming to a stadium full of brown and gold, I would say Padres would be the right move.
So
for when you're in San Diego, right? And when you go to Philly, you might probably should hide a little bit of that. So I'm not sure. I mean, you'll have to. I'm sure the camera will be on them, and we'll see what they're wearing. But they're preparing for that. I'm sure how to respond to that moment.
Also, just once the series obviously gets underway tonight, will you have any contact with your brother? Will you guys text back and forth, or are you just going to kind of shut it down during the actual games?
I'm not sure. I know with our jobs and how much demanding out of us that it's probably going to be very minimal. I'm definitely going to see my parents for sure, but I'm not sure with the day game tomorrow and he's pitching and how that's going to work. Maybe the off day in Philadelphia will connect, but as far as the games go, we're pretty busy.
Jeff?
Hey, Austin, he gave you that strikeout ball the first time he met you. Where do you keep that ball? He gave it to you for Christmas. Where do you keep that now?
I think I gave it to my dog. No. It's in one of the memorabilia we have of that time last year, the first time it ever happened. So, yeah, we have some pictures and some things from that game and from previous games.
And you got him this year. Do you have any plans for revenge?
I do have some plans for it. Haven't revealed them yet, but
Not now?
I'm sure it'll come at Thanksgiving or Christmas.
Tyler, down here on the left.
Austin, with your own pitching staff, you got some pretty well-established starters there. When you got here in 2020 and then they added those three guys, how did that process go in terms of understanding how to work with three or four, I guess, with Mike, pretty established starters, and what makes each of them effective?
They all have their strengths, what they do really well and what they've done well for a long time. Our guys feed off each other. You see the leadership in the starters and the leadership in the bullpen. So they do have some strengths and similarities as well, the way they attack, the way their game plan. And I think that's interesting in how it works because they came in with strengths and weaknesses, but they are able to work together with each other through their leadership and through their cooperation to create one of the best staffs in the game. It's fun to catch.
Also with Darvish specifically, is that a challenge or is it fun when you deal with a pitcher who has so many different options and can freelance out there when he needs to?
I think it's a lot of fun because you can make adjustments in the at bat of what you see because there's always another pitch, another speed, another spin. What happens a lot of times with guys with just 1 or 2 pitches or 3 pitches is that if you got a hitter who's stuck in between speeds, a hitter that you've got, he's on the fastball but he's taking the breaking ball. With Darvish, you can throw something that mimics what he's on, but it's not quite the pitch or the speed that, it's deceptive. I think he creates a lot of deception with the different speeds and pitches types that he has.
The back right.
Hey, Austin, this is looking way out into the future, so I understand if you might not have a great answer. But the fact of the matter is one of you guys is going to be in the World Series, and the other is going to be, dealing with some disappointment, but I would imagine excited for the other. Knowing what you know about yourself and your brother, how do you think you guys will kind of handle that dynamic once the time comes in terms of maybe being present at games, that sort of thing, being supportive in whatever way while dealing with kind of the disappointment as well?
Yeah, I haven't really thought that far. I'm focused on game tonight, doing what we can do tonight to come out on top and shake hands. Yeah, I don't even want to think about the feeling or anything like that. I just want to use whatever we have here, the motivation to get through tonight and have a lot of fun and enjoy the game tonight.
Bob.
Austin, on the Thursday and the off day before you play Game 3 in Philadelphia, any plans for the whole family to get together for dinner that night?
It depends on how the first 2 games go.
And second part, does it work out well, the fact that you guys are in different time zones, or you probably got to see a lot of his games, and you probably got to see a lot of yours?
So he gets to see more of mine. I don't get to see hardly any of his because of our schedule here. Because you got to watch. We have BP and everything working into it, and but he gets to watch a lot of my games. He doesn't go to bed till later. So yeah, I haven't got to watch a ton of his games. It's even over his career. It's been crazy with our time schedules and how we've been across the country for so long.
If you're on this side, we have Scott and Matt and then Emma.
Austin, I know that when the lockout dragged into February, Aaron came out to see you. You guys worked out together, and he said that you were pretty direct with him in terms of like what maybe he needed to do to get over what I think he thought was a disappointing year last year or relative to his other years. Can you share with any of what you may have told him that you thought you saw?
Well, he might use it against us now. I know I kind of caught him a lot last year and watched, some of the video of his games and just what I saw of what I, been around some pitching and some really good pitchers and what the knowledge I have and what he was comfortable with doing. And he definitely made some good adjustments this year. And what he, he was one of the best all year with strikeouts and low walks. So props to him for making the adjustment.
So you'd say he took your advice?
Maybe he did. I don't know. He probably wouldn't say it. He did.
Austin, what kind of crossroads were you at when you switched to become a catcher?
I was a middle infielder at the time in AAA, and one of those. I just wasn't enjoying the game as much. I don't know if it was just I played the position middle infield for so long and felt that there was something that I could do better, and I just didn't feel at the time that I could improve any more on this position. I'd put everything I could into it, and I needed a spark, and catching gave me that spark and that new love for the game and how to enjoy it a little bit more and how to make it less of a job and more of, play, what the game is, right? It's supposed to be played and it's supposed to have fun. And that's what catching does for me.
And Aaron got to the big leagues like a year after being drafted. Just what did you learn about your journey? It took a little bit longer than his did. Yeah,
we have very different journeys. He was, high draft, 7th pick overall, big leagues. Probably could have made it to the big leagues right out of college. He didn't even need to go to the minor leagues, where minor leagues helped me. I needed the minor leagues for a while. And our journeys are very different, so we don't relate in that, but our work ethic and how we go about our business is very similar, and he was able to help me a lot when I first got to the big leagues because he had been a veteran in the big leagues when I had just first gotten to the big leagues.
And he said what you did and what you went through kind of inspired him a little bit. Just, how does that feel, that the work that you were doing and just inspiring your younger brother?
Yeah, because for a while, you look at him when I was in the minor leagues, like, man, my younger brother's been in the big leagues for 5 years and I haven't even tasted it yet. And he'd hit some jabs with me, but, oh, man, I've gotten more hits than you in the big leagues. And I'm like, well, I haven't even got to the big leagues yet. So we had a lot of fun with it, but, to hear his compliments about that was it made me feel good for sure, because, he's got a lot of respect in this game as a veteran.
Emma?
With the earlier mention of PitchCom, as loud as these playoff environments have been, I'm curious about the experience of trying to make sure your guys can actually hear you, pressing those buttons as a catcher.
What's that? Say it again?
Oh, with as loud as these playoff environments have been, curious about making sure your guys can hear PitchCom, what that's been like to press the button and wonder if they get it.
Yeah, they put their glove over their ear. I've been noticing a lot of guys been doing that. It must stop all the noise. It seemed to be working. It really has. I know we might have had one little issue, but at the end of the day, I think everybody's really liked it. It takes away from having to put signs out and the ability to steal signs from second base. I think it's been a good addition.
Take two last ones with Scott and then AJ.
Yeah, Austin, you're kind of obviously in that land between the brother code and your teammate, the code with your teammates. I noticed a couple questions ago, you were real general about what kind of advice last winter you gave to Austin or to Aaron. You didn't get specific with us. Do you get specific with your teammates? Can you and will you say if you gave them a little more specifics than you just answered with us on what advice you gave Aaron?
Yeah, I'll put it to you this way, in that this is important. We want to win. We're competitors. We love each other. He'll probably say the same thing. We love each other. We want each other to do the best. But when it comes to game time, we flip the switch. It's our teammates. We want to win. And he's going to do whatever he can to get me out. I don't know if you saw whenever he pitches against me, it's game time. I'm not letting you off the hook one bit. And he'll tell you straight up. He told me straight up, I'm trying to strike you out. I told him straight up, I'm trying to hit the ball right back at you. And it's always been like that. Whenever I was younger, I created this. I wanted him to be like I wanted him to have that edge a little bit. So he's used that edge, and I think that's important because it's what he's very successful. So I know he's going to give everything he can to his teammates to get, to beat us, and I'm going to do everything I can for us to win.
So you might be a little more specific in the clubhouse with what your brother's trying to do and what adjustments he's made than you have given up with us.
Possibly.
Thank you.
I will finish up with AJ.
The guy who's going against him tomorrow, Blake Snell, he's kind of turned his season around since kind of the midway point. What's been the biggest difference for him in that second half?
Blake has some of the best stuff in the league, hands down. Ask any hitter. Fastball, slider, curveball, changeup, different speeds, the uniqueness of what Blake does, how tall he is, how the ball gets on you, the release point, everything. It's scary when his stuff's in the zone. It's scary, and I think when he gets his pitches in the zone, watch out. He's the real deal.
So that was the biggest difference for you, just getting the pitches in the zone?
When he gets his pitches in the zone, he's the real deal.
Thanks, Austin.
Thank you.